We live in an era of staggering technological efficiency. Algorithms predict our needs, and automated production lines churn out complex hardware faster than ever before. Yet millions of highly educated, 35-year-old professionals find themselves trapped in their childhood bedrooms, unable to afford the lives their parents built. For decades, the implicit promise of the West was simple. If you put in the hours and worked hard, regardless of your background, you would earn enough to buy a home and start a family. Today, for a vast segment of the working class, that core agreement has collapsed. We exist in the most advanced civilization ever constructed, yet the basic milestones of independent adulthood are mathematically out of reach for average workers. This chart tracks per capita economic output. Might look fine on paper. The actual value produced per person has stagnated or even declined across major Western nations like Canada, the United Kingdom, and Germany over recent years. While individual output flatlines, the cost of groceries, fuel, and shelter continues to climb aggressively. Often, we are told to accept this as inflation, a mysterious natural force that randomly drives up prices. A closer look at our monetary system reveals a systemic redistribution of wealth designed to extract value directly from your paycheck. Look at this graph showing the total currency supply over the last decade. To fund immense deficit spending, Western governments essentially doubled the amount of cash in the system, jumping from 1.4 trillion to 2.8 trillion in just 10 years. When new money is created, it follows an economic principle known as the Cantillon Effect. It dictates that whoever receives the newly printed money first reaps the maximum benefit. Politically connected institutions, massive financial firms, and large corporations absorb this fresh cash first. They use these dollars to buy assets before the broader market realizes the currency has been diluted. By the time that money filters down to the average worker in the form of wages, it has already caused the price of housing and food to surge. The cash loses its value before it ever reaches your pocket. Artificial money printing acts as a hidden tax, silently transferring purchasing power from the working class to the ultra-rich. Now let's look at housing. A country like Canada holds the second largest landmass on Earth, possessing 10 times the space per citizen of other developed nations. Yet it suffers from an extreme shortage of places to live. If you scaled that entire nation down to a large table, the amount of land citizens are actually permitted to build homes on would amount to the size of a single penny. Development taxes, zoning delays, and permit fees now cost more than the actual lumber, the labor, and the land itself. Modern local governments operate similarly to historic feudal lords, extracting wealth from the population simply for granting permission to exist on the land. Adam Smith proposed the classical free enterprise model as an alternative to this top-down control, suggesting that removing bureaucratic barriers allows the market to naturally drive down prices. We have modern proof of this. Singapore started as a swampy, mosquito-infested island with zero natural resources. By embracing low taxes and removing barriers to trade, they built one of the wealthiest societies on Earth. Switzerland offers a similar lesson. Their focus on small government and localized control has resulted in one of the strongest currencies and lowest inflation rates in the Western world. These examples suggest a consistent pattern. When governments step back and remove artificial barriers, the resulting market efficiency produces the abundance required for stable societies. In an environment where state obstacles are removed, rapid permitting and low taxes unleash a wave of construction and resource production. A functioning meritocracy requires businesses to actively compete for your labor by offering higher wages and to compete for your dollars by offering lower prices. But you cannot afford to wait for the government to fix these structural failures or provide your fair share. To navigate a gate-kept economy, you have to understand how these macroeconomic forces operate and aggressively leverage your own high-value skills to stay ahead of currency dilution. Just a quick note before we wrap up. The audio you are hearing in this video is generated by AI using Notebook. However, these insights are curated directly from credible economic texts and experts to ensure strict accuracy. To master digital prosperity and stay ahead in the modern economy, make sure to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rise, Raise.